saddle, nothing else matters. My feet in the stirrups, I'm so happy. There's nothing like the sound of Carolina hoofbeats.
Hi, we're down near Havelock, North Carolina today to visit with the Back Country Horseman of the Croatan. They do the trail maintenance down in Croatan National Forest, and they help us to have great places for day rides. With us now is Edward Lloyd, and Edward is the president of the Back Country Horsemen's Association of Croatan. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization?
Well, we formed in September of 2013, and we currently have about 65 members in our organization. We work here in the Pine Cliff Recreation Area. We have about 15 miles of trails that we maintain. We work very closely with the Croatan District Ranger Office, and our District Ranger is Jim Gum. And we've got a very close-knit organization here. We've got a lot of hard-working people that dedicate their time and efforts to keeping these trails cleared, because we're right here on the coast, and the Neuse River is right here behind us, so we get a lot of wind blowover on trees, so we get a lot of activity, chainsaw activity,
right,
to keep these trails cleared up. And so we just come out here every once a month. On most months. Now in the summertime, we declared a no work day, and last year we had a picnic area up in Flanders Beach down the river a little ways, and got together. So we don't work every month, but we work most months.
Right. And that maintaining the trails is part of your mission, and the other part's to teach people land stewardship?
Yes, to be mindful of the trails, the condition of the trails, to further the knowledge of just stewardship of the forest, and to try to keep our heritage of horseback riding alive and well.
Right.
There is, in a 5-county range here, we've got Carteret, Craven, Jones, Pamlico, and Onslow County. We have approximately 6,000 horses in that 5-county range. So there's a lot of opportunity for horsemen to come out here, and there's a lot of horses that need to come out here and experience these trails.
Right.
So we've got some really nice trails. We've got everything that runs from the river. We've got varied terrain. We've got planted pine forests. We've got natural hardwood forests out here. We've just got a big variety.
Okay.
So it's a great place to come out here and ride on the coast.
Sure, and it's open to the general public, so it can be a destination ride for people to come for the day.
Absolutely. We want to encourage anybody from the mountains that can't ride during December and January. That's a perfect time to come ride down here. There's no bugs. That's a problem during the summertime, so we have to go to the mountains if we want a bug-free ride.
Right.
But during the middle of the winter, we have no bugs. We've got moderate, for the most part, moderate winters. So it's a great time to come down here, bundle up, saddle up, and go riding.
And this organization is a club, so you pay dues and become a member. Is that how it works?
Yes, we are the 7th chapter in North Carolina.
Okay.
We're the furthest one. We're the only one on the east side of Interstate 95. And there are 6 other chapters on the other side. So we needed one over here because we have a national forest here, and we have the trails. So I was encouraged by President Larry Blackburn of the Uwharrie chapter. He talked to me over and over again about starting up a chapter down here. So after much deliberation, I decided to let's go for it and let's see what we can do. So as it stands now, like I said, we've got over 60 members, and as you can see by the turnout today, we've got a lot of participation.
For sure. And how can a person get involved with your group?
We have a website, Back Country Horseman of the Croatan. You can type that in, or BCH of the Croatan. Either way, it'll take you to it. We have a membership form on there. We set up in various locations next month. No, I'm sorry. At the end of this month, we will be set up at the Tractor Supply in New Bern. We will have a booth set up there, so we will have applications there, and we'll have our banner out here, and giving people an idea of what we do. We have various events. We're on the websites all the time. We're on email. A lot of contact with email and Facebook. There's a lot of our members that are big on Facebook and get the word out through the public access that way. So we've had a lot of participation through that avenue. So we're just excited about being here and gaining more members. We want to get some younger members in here because there's a lot of us like myself are kind of aging and we need some help.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for spending some time with me.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. With us now is Tom Thomas, and Tom Thomas is the president of the Back Country Horseman of North Carolina. He is the vice chair of the Back Country Horsemen's Association of America, and he's on the North Carolina Horse Council board and the executive committee. So tell us a little bit about your organization as far as North Carolina.
Well, Edward did a very good job. We have 7 units in North Carolina. We have basically from the mountains to the coast now, and we're very proud of everything that Edward and the Back Country Horsemen of Croatan have done. It's just a great group.
Right.
And we have 5 of them that actually surround the Smoky Mountains, and 1 in Uwharrie. And they just do a spectacular job. They're opening trails, and the great majority of them are multi-use trails. So when we're taking timber off and branches that are sticking down that could take your eye out, we're making the trails safer for all users.
Right.
And in our area, we share it with bikers. And your horses have to be trained at a different level. But the bikers are beginning to get more and more courteous and understanding what they need to do when they approach a horse. So it's a team effort.
Right. And you guys work with the park rangers because they don't have the budget necessarily to keep all this work done.
Right. About 3/4 of the Forest Service trails and the national park trails are not maintained up to standard, and without the volunteerism, it's just not happening. We have a bill actually in Congress right now it's a volunteer bill to support the national forest and national parks and any federal land, BLM, to bring in more volunteers and to support the volunteer effort, and to also hopefully take care of the workman's comp at the Washington level instead of having each forest have to be responsible for that locally.
Right.
And it's been amazing, the workmanship and the cooperation we've got with the national forests and the parks. It's been super.
Right. And I would guess that because there's so much work to do all the time that it doesn't really matter what level your physical capacity is, that there's something that you can do to volunteer and have a great day outside and meet some nice people. Is that right?
That is correct, because I'm the volunteer coordinator in Pisgah district for all the trail users, and we have a biker group called SORBA. We have CMC, Carolina Mountain Club, who actually has hundreds of members just in our area, and we all pitch in to do the basically teamwork gets more done than one person, so it's a good effort.
And for the Back Country Horsemen of America, tell us about the mission nationally.
Well, we want to support the heritage and history of trail use and stock use throughout the nation. We want to, in doing that, we want to keep trails open and safe for all users. We want to bring in youth and educate the general public and equine use, stock use throughout the nation. And our education principles are very high, and we support the Leave No Trace effort throughout the nation. We have about 14,000 members throughout the nation, and just recently we brought on Mississippi and Michigan as 2 other states that are now backcountry horseman groups.
Nice.
So it's great.
Now tell me about Leave No Trace, because that's important for people to know.
Well, Leave No Trace is an effort to teach people in the backcountry how to take care of everything from human waste to their trash, how to secure their food in a safe and proper fashion to keep bears out of your camp, how to set up a camp, how to highline horses, keep horses off of root systems, and also how to dispose of not just human waste but manure properly. And so when you leave that campsite or when you leave where you're riding, you just leave footprints and nothing else.
Right. All right. And that applies to day use trails too, right?
That
So
is
if you
correct.
pack in a Pepsi, don't throw the bottle on the ground and those kind of things, just general
Right.
stewardship.
Yeah. Courtesy out in the backcountry. You know, if you brought it in, you pack it out.
Right.
And you don't leave food. If you're having hot dogs and you eat 4 hot dogs, you don't take the rest of the hot dogs and throw them behind the trees, because somebody else is going to be in that area, and you're bringing in wildlife in an inappropriate manner.
Right. All right. Very good. Well, thank you.
I appreciate it very much.
All right.
My name is Scott Brookins, and I am the owner of Brookins Construction and MD Barn Master of the Carolinas. At MD Barn Master, we have the best warranty in the business. We have a variety of designs to choose from. Our barns are easily customizable to meet your needs. We have financing available to those who qualify. Our barns are fire resistant and they hold their value with little maintenance. Let us build your dream barn for you today.
Are you ready for that awesome outdoor experience? An outdoor living space that can be enjoyed by all? Let the expertise of award-winning Belgard authorized contractor Harper Landscaping, serving eastern and central North Carolina, design and install that perfect space. A place to let the family enjoy and relax, a divine intervention to outdoor living. Whether it be a cookout with friends and family or an after-school hangout, Harper Landscaping can help you create that perfect space for many moments to cherish. With us now is Mike Granger, and Mike is the Vice President of the Back Country Horseman here in Croatan. Tell us a little bit about the man hours and how that's equated to dollars for us here.
Well, every hour that's spent by volunteer organizations in the forest equates to dollars for the National Forest Service to use for different various reasons. To date, well, for 2014, Back Country Horseman of the Croatan alone has earned over $31,000 based on the man hours worked, and thus far in 2015, we've earned about $11,000 in man hours that we've worked, and that includes, trail maintenance on foot, on equipment, both heavy equipment and on foot and handheld equipment and those kind of things.
Right. So what you're saying is that the trails are kept up so nicely by you guys that there's that many man hours. I mean, this is a beautiful place to ride, and there's a tremendous amount of work in keeping up those trails so that they're beautiful for us to ride. I mean, that's amazing. And the hours and the dollars that you've generated, the Forestry Service didn't have to spend, so that lets them use their money for other things as well.
Well, that's right. In these days of sequestration and all the cutbacks that the Forest Service and all government agencies are having to suffer through, it's very difficult for them to maintain these trails and the back countries of the country. And this is our little piece that we're trying to take care of here. There's some beautiful things out here that we'd like the folks to see. There's some nice wildlife out here. And we'd just like to make sure that it's available for all the folks in eastern North Carolina and those folks that like to come and visit us, so that we can have something to offer for the folks in eastern North Carolina on your way to the beach.
So how do we be sure that we are allowed to utilize these parks with our horses? What guarantees us that?
Well, this is public lands, and based on agreements through the National Forest Service, the memorandum of understanding that's been developed between the Back Country Horsemen of America and a national level trickles down to the local levels, such as the Croatan. And we have an awesome working relationship with our district ranger, and the folks in the Croatan office here, the Forest Service office, they bend over backwards to work with us, and it starts from the national level and works its way on down to the local level, and we're recipients of the benefit of that memorandum of understanding, as well as the Forest Service having the benefit of us having the labor hours and the manpower to do it. We're only a 60-man organization here. I should say 60-person organization.
Right.
But so we're a small organization, and we're trying to do what we can do. It's our small part to increase the usage and the ability for the public to use national forest and enjoy what's out here for all Americans.
Right. So folks at home watching, if you're a trail rider, you really need to become members of these organizations and support them so that you can be sure that you have a place to ride in the future. This is such a beautiful area. Tell us a little bit about the amenities here.
Well, unfortunately, we do not have overnight camping, at least not yet. We have a parking lot that is under construction. It's about a 3.5, 4 acre lot. Hopefully one day maybe we'll have camping out there. I'm hopeful. But as it stands now, we have the big parking lot that we're working on. We have the parking area where we are right now at the end of the road here. We're overlooking the Neuse River. We have on an overlook on our Blue Trail, there is a picnic table and a hitching post out there, so you can bring your lunch, stop off for a while, enjoy the view, the nice breeze that comes off the river, and we've just got an abundance of trails. Some of them are wide, some of them are a little more narrow, but all of them are very navigable, even for inexperienced horses and horse riders. A lot of the trails are nice and wide. So there's no real tight spaces, that they have to navigate there. But we've just got a very nice long season of riding. When the bugs finally subside around October, the trail riding gets really nice. October through about March, April, we're pretty much bug free. And so we've just got nice weather most all the time. Of course, we are on the coast of North Carolina, so the weather does change pretty quickly sometimes, but for the most part, we've got very nice weather out here.
And are the trails mapped, and where can people get a map?
We do have maps, and you can find them on our website, and they are printable from our Back Country Horseman of the Croatan website.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
If you're interested in a career working with horses, then Martin Community College is the place for you. MCC's Equine Technology program is the only one offered among North Carolina's 58 community colleges. The program is management-oriented with classes in breeding, nutrition, training, riding, equine health, and more. Graduates can leave MCC prepared to work in recreational and racing barns, breed to discipline-oriented farms, or assistant farm management. For more information, contact Martin Community College today.
Hi, I'm Rick Peniston. I train my horse Jake to trust me and be brave in order to face the obstacle challenges and win in extreme cowboy races. It takes dedication, hard work, and innovation to train a champion. As an attorney representing injured persons, I use the same skills to win compensation for people injured in accidents or on-the-job injuries. If you've been injured in an accident or on the job and need advice, call me. I want to hear from you.
This is Paul Dunn from Mule City Feeds. We've been delivering horse feed to eastern North Carolina since 1981. And not only have we been delivering it, we've been leading the industry so far as compliance with state North Carolina and giving the best quality product possible. We test everything that comes in from the local farmers. We do quality assurance and we deliver the product. Give us a chance. Your neighbors giving us a chance. We'd like to have your business here at Mule City Feeds. Also, when you deal with the big feed companies, you might have to wait 4 or 5 days just to get the feed. Give us a call and you'll be shocked we'll deliver in an hour.
Author of several songs that I know you guys have heard played in the arenas. Would you like to tell us about the song that you wrote for Jim Thomas and the Mustang Makeover?
Well, we called it the Ballad of Jim Thomas, but the name of it actually is called It's About Love. And that came to me through a friend of mine that's a horse and equine massage therapist, Harriet Ling, that lives in this area.
Right.
And she's an old friend, and she was telling me about Jim's story. And he was raising money for Wounded Warriors, called it Mustangs of the Warriors, and he was riding all the way here from Silk Hope, North Carolina, all the way down to Clemson, South Carolina for the Extreme Mustang Makeover.
Right.
So it was such an inspiring story. Harriet called me and she said, you know, you've got to write a song about this. This is really cool. Jim's going to ride 2 brand new gentled Mustangs, and he's going to ride them 300 miles down to Clemson and raise money for the Wounded Warriors. She said, it's such a great, inspiring story. You should write this. And this was like a few weeks before he did it. And finally, it must have been like the week before he left, she said, have you written that song yet? And I said, well, no, it sounds fun, but I'm busy right now, whatever. And then like the next week on a Monday, she said, Jim's getting ready to leave. Have you written that song? And I said, well, actually I haven't, but I got to think about that. And so that night I got in the shower. I'd been working on my car that day, and I got in the shower and it started coming to me a little bit. And I thought, you know, what's the reason that Jim would do this? Why would he be raising money for the wounded warriors and riding the horses? I mean, what's his motivation? And I just realized, you know, it's about his love of country. It's about his love because he's a veteran himself.
Right.
And it's about his love for the country, love for riding, his love for people, his love for horses. And I thought, you know, it's just about love. It's what the song should be about. And it's sort of this Alan Jackson sort of thing came to my mind as I was in the shower, and I grabbed my phone and I'm speaking into it, and I'm coming up with the words, you know. I thought, well, what is it about? About the love? What is it? I thought, well, it's about the ride, you know. So the chorus is, it's about the ride and it's about the freedom. It's about, and then he was raising money for the wounded warriors, so it's about fighting, believing in the ones who give us this freedom, you know. And then I thought, well, you know, it's about time that finally there's a song written about love and this sort of inspiration. So it's about time, it's about love. So that's how all of it came together, and it came together really like on a Monday. I finished writing it that night at 1 a.m. and then by Tuesday I was I called a friend of mine who is a video producer in Chicago named Fred Blurton. And Fred is one of these fellas, if he finds something inspirational to create, he's on board, and he started putting stuff in his car before I could get off the phone with him. He was going to go down and videotape Jim on this dynamic ride to South Carolina. And so by the next week, we had it recorded in Nashville. I did the vocals up in Chicago and had the song published. And before Jim was too far down the road, we had already sent him a copy of it to listen to on his phone. He was able to get it while he was sitting in a diner, and I think it was a real sort of emotional event for him, as it was for us.
Oh, definitely. When I saw it on YouTube, I just sat there and cried like a baby because the words were so perfect.
I did too.
Jim's ride was not an easy ride. I mean, he rode in rain. He camped on the side of the road. He had, you know, it was a long, hard trip with 2 wild Mustangs that he had gentled and had just a few rides on them. So it really was all about the love. So that was a great job.
Thank you.
And then Mary Miller Jordan had a song that you had done for her, I believe.
That's right. Through Jim and through the Mustang makeover in Clemson, I got to meet Mary Miller Jordan. And as you know, or any of your viewers may know, she's very inspirational. She's one of these folks that knows what her purpose in life is, and she's going to follow that dream every day. And she was moved, I guess, by the song I wrote for Jim, and she says, could you write one for me for the Mustang makeover? And I said, well, I don't know if I can write it for that, but I can think about it and write you one, because these things sort of just come to me at certain times. And I wrote a song called When You Believe in Yourself. And that's really what she wanted it to be about, was believing in yourself. And through the horses, the inspiration that you get from the horses and the energy and how they're grounding for you. And when I wrote this song, it ended up being like a yodeling cowboy song, which really wasn't, I knew at the time, really wasn't what she was looking for. She was looking for something that she could ride to. But you don't question these things when they come out, you know. And it came out as a sort of a cowboy yodel, and it was about believing in yourself. And it's been a lot of fun to put that out there and see her make some videos off of it.
Yeah, for you guys that went to Year of the Horse, she performed to that song during that festival. So, you know, it's a beautiful song and very fitting for what she does, actually. So. Definitely good. And you're no stranger to the music business. Tell us a little bit about your history.
Well, I'm not. Well, I grew up in Archdale, North Carolina, and I left Archdale after college at East Carolina. I was there for a little while, then I ended up going to Nashville. It was my dream to do that as a singer and songwriter, so I ended up working at Opryland Theme Park for quite a few years, and then ended up, by the time I was 21, I was singing on the Grand Ole Opry.
Nice.
So I got to sing with Roy Acuff on the Saturday matinee, then eventually with Porter Wagner on the Friday night shows and the Saturday night shows. And through that began to tour as a bass player and a singer with some with Porter Wagner, some of his TV shows that he worked on, as well as with Connie Smith and Jim Ed Brown and Bill Anderson, a few folks to name.
Big names.
Some of the older Grand Ole Opry stars. And then eventually I started touring with Louise Mandrell and worked some with Barbara Mandrell and worked with Alan Jackson, but that was his very first band when he came out of the mailroom in the Nashville Network. So I was working with Alan when he wasn't known, and then I had moved on to other things, and he became a big star, and maybe I should have stayed.
So tell me why you stopped doing music.
I think it was sort of a process that a lot of it I outgrew. So eventually I had to leave Nashville, and I wish I'd left earlier and gone back, but I went to Chicago where my wife was from. We raised kids up there, and now with the cold weather and the snowing and plowing is about to get to me, so I'm starting to look south again. So
well, good. You hope you'll come back to North Carolina.
Thank you. I love the South, and I love North Carolina.
And what do you do now?
Well, these days I'm the executive director of the National Barbecue Association, which is sort of a fun gig, but it has its own stress too.
Right. Well, thank you for spending some time with us today.
Thank you, Rose.
North Carolina Horse Council welcomes you to the 4th Annual Cowboy Up event, held September the 11th through the 13th in Lumberton, North Carolina, at the Southeastern Agricultural Events Center. For more information, go to the NC Horse Council website at www.nchorsecouncil.com. This event is sponsored by the North Carolina Horse Council, the Lumberton Visitors Bureau, the Border Belt Horsemen's Association, Carolina Hoofbeats TV, Modern Horseman TV, and Southeast Equine Magazine.
Carolina Hoofbeats is brought to you in part by Newcomb Quarter Horses. Newcomb Quarter Horses with over 40 years experience. Find out how we can help you today. NewcombQuarterHorses.net. And also by Carolina Hoofbeats Magazine, a free publication about the horse industry in North Carolina. Catch up on the latest issue at carolinahoofbeats.com. And also by Southeast Equine Magazine, a free publication about the horse industry in the southern United States.
Sitting high in the saddle, nothing else matters. My feet